Hi, welcome to Easter Markup. We're counting down to Easter. We're looking in the book of Mark at some things that are related to the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus. We're in Mark 15, again, one verse. A certain man, verse 21, a certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. Now, this is as Jesus is on his way to Golgotha. We know that Jesus has been moving through the streets. He's been beaten. He is nearly dead. He is forced to carry his cross. And we find out through other passages, a story kind of, you connect it all together. He folds under the weight of that cross. And so Simon is pulled out of the crowd. Simon is the father of Alexander and Rufus, and who they become, they're mentioned here. So to this first century crowd, they could have been known entities. Chances are historically they were. That's a study for a whole other time, another place. But Simon is coming in, as many people did. They came to Jerusalem for Passover. And Simon becomes the one that carries the cross. You ever wonder about that moment? When Jesus falls into the way of the cross, the soldiers realize he's not going to be able to make it up Golgotha with the cross, and they look for someone to carry it. They reach in, they choose Simon. Chances are he was there with his boys. And they pull him out, and he takes and he shoulders the weight of this massive cross. And he watches as they take it off of Jesus, and he probably tries to help best he can. Positions it where he can handle it, and then carries the cross for Jesus all the way to Calvary. Just like I asked yesterday what you would have thought if you were Barabbas, the same question is today. What if you were Simon? Because just as Barabbas began to understand that Jesus took his place, we don't know what level he did, chances are very, very good that Simon understood that the cross that Jesus was carrying, the weight of what he was carrying, really was something that he shouldn't have been carrying. And Simon became a player also in the events of the crucifixion, carrying that cross all the way. I'm sure by this time it had blood on it. Jesus, of course, would have been a mess. The crowd would have been pushing and shoving and screaming and hollering. It would have been noisy. It wouldn't have been a quiet, reverent trip. And Simon is moving through through the crowd with a cross that was really not his. Or was it? See, we know enough about the crucifixion to know that Jesus died for us, and so maybe Simon then became the next person in the midst of this drama as it unfolds, the passion of the Christ, as it were, that began to understand that by taking the cross from Jesus, it really was his cross after all. His cross. And that's what Jesus was being crucified on. When he gets to Golgotha, he gives it back. And Jesus does what Jesus came to do. He will die on it. I think to be in that moment and to have seen that moment would have been overwhelming. To have been Simon would have been overwhelming. I can't imagine what that would be like, but then when I stop and I pray, I can't imagine it because I realize and I remember that Jesus did it for me. He took my cross. He took yours too. And so here we are moving toward Easter. We know the ending to the story, and it's good. But at the same time, to get to the ending, there was some pain. It did cost something. I am grateful that Jesus loved me enough to pay the cost. I'm sure you are too. And mark it down. Simon not only carried the cross that became his, symbolically he's carrying our cross too. It's a cross that Jesus would die on for us. So mark it down. He loved you enough to keep going, even when the weight of the cross became too big, too great. And also remember, just as a complete side note, in those moments that you think that Jesus doesn't have time or doesn't understand what you're going through, of course he does. The weight of his own cross became too much to bear on the way to Calvary. Someone had to carry it for him. He understands when you feel overwhelmed. He understands when you feel like you can't move on. He understands when it feels like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. And not only does he understand, he cares, and he loves you. Look forward to joining you next time as we continue our Easter markup.